pickup truck blocked her in. She went up, opened the front door. As soon as she got it open, he hit her in the back, got her and both buyers in, zip-tied them, duct taped them, backed his truck up into the garage, stole everything, left. Owners didn't come home till 9:30 that night.
Hi there, Jess Uphoff here with this episode of This Jess'd In. I'm here with the beautiful Elise Santani and our guest today, Danna Hinz. Danna, you got a gun pulled on you? Tell us the story. I'm so anxious to hear the details.
Yeah, so we were driving along. I was being nice. Let this guy in from the gas station. We weren't in any hurry. I was like 5 cars back. So he goes zooming out, goes through the intersection. Then he pulls over. I was like, okay, maybe he got, I don't know. So I go around him and he pulls a gun out the window, points it at us, and starts chasing us.
Oh my goodness.
It's like, and luckily I have a dash cam. Since I do real estate, I have, so that I have recordings of everything.
Thank goodness.
And so we called 911. There was nowhere to go. Single lane road. There's like a tow truck in the other lane. So there's nowhere to run, nowhere to go. I can see him tapping the gun on the dashboard behind us. And I'm just expecting the glass to explode.
Because you're like, he's going to shoot us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you have no idea what the problem is.
No idea. Because I never came within like 5 car lengths of this guy.
So it's not like you guys had an incident on the road where he's like, road rage. It's just straight,
I was being
unprovoked.
Nice. Yeah. I let him in, waved him in.
So just wrong place, wrong time.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So this has drawn on for almost 3 years. He continues to not show up for court.
But they caught it. How did they catch him?
Well, they caught him that day.
Okay.
And we had to fight and fight and fight for him to be charged. I had the video.
Thank goodness.
Turned out to be a lighter, of all things.
It wasn't a gun.
No, it wasn't. And he said, well,
did it look like a gun?
Oh, absolutely. It looked like a 9mm Glock. Same size. You can see it perfectly on the video.
Okay, so let me pause real quick. You said it looks like a 9mm Glock. You know something about guns.
Yeah.
How? What's your background? Why
I'm
do
a
you know about
retired
that?
sheriff's deputy.
Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why you have a dash cam too. Like, I know you said I'm a realtor. That's why I have a dash cam. Do you know another realtor that has a dash cam?
No.
Yeah.
Everyone who's taken my class
Has a dash
has
cam?
a dash cam.
So what's the purpose of a dash cam for a realtor? I'm sorry if it's an ignorant question.
No. It's just proof. I think everybody should have them.
Yeah.
Because you have proof of, it monitors your car when you're not there, which is really nice.
That is nice.
If you don't have a Tesla that has all those fancy cameras, but it's just nice. It also
She does.
Okay. But yeah, it's just nice because you have. Like in this situation, I believe he's a felon on parole, and still it was like the two retired law enforcement against 2 people on parole, and the police still gave us a hard time about what happened. And I had the video. I had the whole video. I had everything to show there was no road rage, show that we had no interaction before.
It's so wild to me because so your husband is a retired police officer, right?
28 years, yeah.
Wow.
Okay, and you have a background in law enforcement as well. So it's just so ironic to me that the felon meets the 2 retired police officers or police industry people. Thank God that it's you, that you know what you're doing, that you weren't, that you were aware that someone was behind you. You thought that it was a gun, but you were smart enough to call the police. Now,
She had a dash cam.
You had a dash cam, all the things. Like, it's just, it's kind of like a wild set of circumstances that is how this all worked out.
Well, and I think too, from teaching the classes, the situational awareness classes, I knew enough not to drive down a road I didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't want to get trapped.
Yeah. Yeah.
I stayed where I knew where I was. You call 911, say a prayer, hope nothing bad happens, and try not to do anything rash. Because my biggest fear for someone else, if he had done that to someone else, was you run into somebody else, run through an intersection, kill somebody else, run over a pedestrian.
Yeah.
Because you get this tunnel vision.
Yeah.
You're just terrified. So you just can't
and it's
think
just get
clearly.
away. It's just flight.
Yeah.
So you were working in Boulder County Records, right? And then you were at the jail?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then you decided this is not for me. I'm going to go into real estate.
Well, I went to the police. Yeah, so I went to the police academy.
Okay.
Went through that. I had a friend who was pregnant on graveyards.
Okay.
My dear friend. And I thought, this is not what I want for my life.
Yeah.
I don't want graveyards. I don't want to do shift work. And law enforcement is all shift work. My husband was on graves. I saw people passing kids off in briefing. Mm-hmm. And that's the most contact they ever had.
Yeah.
And that's not what I wanted. I love the chaos and the adrenaline and all of that. And I love helping people, but not that way.
Yeah.
So chaos
That's not
and
what
adrenaline is real estate. Perfect.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I would say mortgage lending or real estate.
Yeah.
You know, being a realtor or lender, you have chaos and
Yep.
yeah, that's great.
And
you
creativity.
took to it quickly.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? That's
I
you were
love
born
it.
for it.
I still love it. 26
great.
years. I love it.
It's awesome.
And then you bring this self-awareness. So I want to talk about this because you're teaching classes.
Well, let me tell you how I
Okay.
got into these classes.
Yeah.
So in real estate, everybody needs continuing ed, right? So I needed some classes. This was 6 years ago. And I'm like, ooh, self-defense, super class I can sleep through, right? 2 hours.
Yeah.
Because what could anyone teach me about self-defense?
You're like, I
I'm
worked
such
in a jail.
snot. I feel so bad. I was such a
got it.
snot. So I walk in and I'm like, oh, great. She's got stun guns. Whatever. Like, they'll just use those against you. So I'm just sitting in the back, like with my arms crossed. Cheryl, I'm sorry if you're watching. I'm so sorry. So she's teaching this class and she's like, I'm going to tell you, this isn't about getting out of trouble when you're in it. This is about staying out of trouble, never getting in it. And I was like, what? That was a whole new shift in thinking because I had always thought, what am I going to do when I get into trouble? And this is a whole shift in thinking to how do I stay out of trouble?
Agreed.
And I was like, ooh, I'm paying attention. And then she brings out fun things like stun guns, which I have one,
That's a stun gun?
and a flashlight.
It kind of looks like a vibrator.
Only you.
Maybe you could make like a triple purpose.
A shocking one.
Although I would hate to be using it for one. And then
When my vagina blew up.
Well, luckily for you, these have a safety pin. You pull the pin and it no longer works as a stun gun. You can't. Because that was my thing to get back on track, Missy. Was I don't want something that could be taken away from me and used against me.
Right.
ooh.
But they have a safety pin. So if it were to get taken from you, it doesn't work.
Okay.
It's just a flashlight.
So if you like put that on my arm, what would happen to me? I don't want to test it.
You'd hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes a really loud noise.
It's really to scare them.
Yes.
To where they
Okay.
don't want to mess with you anymore.
Yes, it's so some people use it when they're like hiking, because I can't say that it's good for wild animals, but the noise it makes is a deterrent
Okay.
Got
to
it.
random dogs.
Okay.
It's very loud.
Okay.
It makes a strong electrical noise.
Okay. Is it electricity? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
So it electrocutes you.
Do you have to charge
No, it doesn't.
it?
Like yes.
You charge it
And,
like
and
the
I
phone.
I haven't charged this thing. It's
sorry.
forever.
Oh, wow.
The batteries last forever.
forever.
It's crazy. But I like them, especially for college students, because it's a flashlight.
Oh.
For all
Yeah.
intensive purposes,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
a flashlight.
Yeah.
So do you keep that like in your glove compartment?
I have one in my purse, one in my car, one in my desk. They're everywhere.
Okay.
Yeah.
So smart.
And it's not like a gun where it can like accidentally go off and
No, well, guns don't accidentally go off
Okay.
first.
See, I don't know.
That's okay. And tasers shoot when you hear police officers yell, taser, taser,
Yeah.
taser. They shoot projectiles. Both of them have to hit. And then that is a full body experience. That electricity goes through your whole body.
Okay.
That's a taser.
Okay.
Okay. Law enforcement only. Stun guns are muscle mass interrupters.
Okay.
So if I were to stick this onto your thigh, it's just your thigh. It's pain compliance.
Okay.
So you can't stand around and admire your artwork. You hit somebody with this, extreme pain, you run.
Every time
Create
you're doing
distance.
that, you're like stressing me out. I think that you're going to do it to yourself, but you can't because you took that pin out.
Yeah, there's no pen. There's no
Okay.
way this won't work without the pen.
Okay.
And it would probably mess up the the noise because they're very loud.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So back to Cheryl's class. You take Cheryl's
Yeah.
class
Oh,
and
yeah.
she's like, this is preventative. And you're like, wow, this is a whole different
Oh, yeah.
concept.
So then I was like, hey, can I do this? She's
so
like, well,
you
sure.
felt inspired.
Oh, yeah. So she was with Damsel in Defense.
Okay.
So I became a safety instructor through Damsel in Defense, started teaching classes. Then we went into COVID, didn't teach a whole lot. And then came out of COVID, and the state of Colorado said, we no longer feel that safety classes are under the revised statute of our obligation. So you can't give CE credits, because I was actually accredited.
That is the craziest thing I've ever heard.
So the classes have really declined since there's no CE credits, because realtors are terrible at doing anything they don't get credit for.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
I used to do big offices, big teams, big offices. We'd have so much fun.
Yeah.
I did Flatirons Church.
Oh, wow.
I did their second graders every Tuesday for a whole semester. I had all their kiddos. So it's really something that can be tailored to anybody.
Give us your top 5 tips to not get yourself into trouble. Because a lot of our viewers are real estate agents. So, and I know for me personally, I always have like 20 texts at any given time. I know I have got to call people back. I'm thinking about my next appointment, and I'm just...
You're a prime target.
I am.
Honestly.
Yeah, let's put this out to just let the whole world know.
Well, let's talk about targets for a second.
Yeah.
Okay. Most of the criminals out there, they don't have a type. It's opportunity.
Yeah.
Okay. And every crime needs motive, means, and opportunity. Okay. I can't do anything about motive. And usually you can't do anything about means, but you can absolutely remove opportunity. Right? Mm-hmm. Okay. So if you are going to walk to your car staring at your phone, you make great opportunity because you're not going to see it coming. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you have one free hand, holding your bag or your purse or whatever, and your one hand's free and you're looking around, look at people in the eye, you don't make good targets.
Yeah.
Eye contact freaks people out. Right?
That's
so
good advice.
if she's got ill intentions and I'm looking at her,
Yeah.
they don't want to be noticed. Right? They want to be in the background and find someone they could take advantage of. So if I'm watching you
Mm-hmm.
and we're making eye contact, you're not going to come after me. You're going to go after somebody that's not paying attention.
So the number one tip is because I think real estate agents, lenders, busy real estate professionals, we are constantly being bombarded with texts, email, phone call. It's just our phone is like blowing up all the time if you're a busy professional. And it's very easy to try to multitask, walk to your car and respond to a text, right?
It's funny you say multitasking, because in my class, I teach that you cannot multifocus.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. You can multitask. And women, I think, are the worst at trying to attempt that, to do as many things as they can, but you can't multifocus. Okay. So if you're texting, you're focusing on what you're writing, what you're doing on your phone, and your muscle memory is walking, but you're not paying attention to where you're walking. That's why people walk in front of buses, off cliffs.
Lose their car.
Yeah.
When they parked it themselves.
Yeah. So, yes. So, if anything, give yourself a break. One of the things for all you realtors out there, we have got to stop letting our business, letting our people and our clients think that we are available 24 hours a day.
Oh my God. I agree.
Because if I set up their expectations that if you text me, I'm not going to return a text when I'm driving or when I'm with another client.
Yeah.
So if they expect you to answer instantly, yes, then you're going to feel obligated to answer and to look at every text message.
Right.
And Colorado's new law, January 1st, no phone in the car.
Yep.
So
you can get pulled over.
yes.
Or-
Yes.
You can do hands-free though, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you shouldn't be looking at your phone
No.
while you're driving.
No. Well, you shouldn't. And we live in a world where everyone is always on their phone. Everyone is constantly responding fast. we're driving. We're like, I cannot tell you how many times I park my car at Target or wherever, and I leave and I'm clicking the alarm button on my car because I have no idea where I parked it. And it's to your point, because I'm not paying attention.
Yep.
When I'm parking my car.
And I don't think it's just real estate professionals.
No, it's
I think Americans, we are busier than ever right now because we just keep taking on and taking on and taking on. And so I think that our safety is at risk, right?
Yeah.
By continually saying yes to things when we already are feeling completely like one of our partners, for New Year's, we identified in a mastermind group, we have, what's your word of the year? And one of our partners' word of the year was no. I was like, that's really interesting that that's your word, right? Because everybody else was like abundance or, just these words that were more like inspiring, but I thought, no, that's such a good word. And the more I think about it, I'm like, I need more of that. I need more no. So saying like, it might take me half a day to respond to you. And no, I can't do that. Thanks. I don't have the bandwidth right now. It's an okay thing to say.
It's a totally okay thing because it's worse to say yes and then be like, oh my gosh, I can't do this and I'm resentful.
Or put your safety at risk because you're trying to juggle too many things.
Well, and it's how you expect. It's how you set people up to expect, because they'll do what you set up.
Yes. Expectations.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's a hard habit to break.
Oh yeah, yeah. People
it
treat
really
you
is
the way that you let them treat you.
Yep.
So it's up to you.
And back with the cars, interesting. So your average reaction time is 1 second. Okay, so distance wise, that's about 6 feet.
Okay.
Okay, so if you're not paying attention, it's about 1.5 seconds. So let's go back to texting and driving.
Yeah.
If you're going 30 miles an hour, your reaction time is 44 feet. That's just to perceive you need to react. So that's the average frontage of an average house lot, 45 feet. Your braking distance is 45 feet. So your overall stopping distance is 89 feet. That's 6 car lengths. So that's 30 miles an hour. So kid walks out in front of you. By the time you realize what's happening. So let's everyone's setting up open house signs.
Oh, right.
You're paying attention to where you're going, where you're going to set your sign up next. Neighbor kid walks out in front of you. That is why you cannot stop. That's why accidents happen.
Yeah.
Because it's the reaction time distance plus your braking distance. That's if you have good brakes and good tires.
Exactly.
Right.
If you don't have good brakes and no good tires.
And conditions of the road too, right?
So at 80 miles an hour, that stopping distance is 439 feet. That's 29 car lengths. That's why pileups happen.
Yeah.
So it's funny because I got a new car, which tells you when you're inside that stopping distance, that reaction distance, and it has a little caution sign that comes up. And it is amazing to me that even I thought I was back far enough. Usually at those higher speeds, I'm not.
Yeah.
And it is really, and that's really shocking for young kids because they have the best reaction time.
Young kids?
The younger you are, usually the faster because your eyesight's better. So usually your reaction time is better when you're younger. So the older we get, especially if you're looking down
Yeah.
and then you look up, it takes you time to refocus.
Yeah.
Like distance is your friend
Wow.
when you're driving. And it's all just that same thing, paying attention.
Yeah. So okay, so what do we need to know to stay safe? Like what are your top 5, the top 5 things that we can do? Anybody, it doesn't have to be a real estate agent, but just I know because we're friends and we talk. You shared something with me that I thought was so interesting about parking in driveways. And I was like, oh my God, I never even don't park in the drive. Well, I'll let you explain it. But little things like that are just so interesting to me. And I am starting to practice some of this stuff.
So don't park in driveways, folks. Yeah. We had an agent many years ago showing houses. She was older. She parked in a driveway. Little bit beknownst to her, she never saw it. Pickup truck blocked her in. She went up, opened the front door. As soon as she got it open, he hit her in the back, got her and both buyers in, zip tied them, duct taped them, backed his truck up into the garage, stole everything, left. Owners didn't come home till 9:30 that night and found them. I don't think she ever worked in real estate again after that. But she admits she never saw him. He said, I was following her for like 4 houses, but he blocked her in, and she wasn't paying attention to what was going on behind her. She was so focused
park
on the map.
the street where if
Yep.
you needed to quickly
run.
get out, you
Yeah.
could run.
And back in. Teach your kids how to back in.
Back into what?
Parking spaces.
Oh.
Sorry. So, yeah. So if you can park back into parking spots is great, because it allows you under stress to get out easier.
Oh, that makes sense. So to
Yeah.
reverse, so if you're in like a parking, like
Any
Yeah.
traditional
Any
parking lot.
always try to back in.
Yeah.
Wow.
Or pull through. If you don't like backing in, park
Yeah.
out far enough that you can pull through. And watch while you're again, eye contact. Watch while you're walking around. I had a student that was kidnapped
What?
from a parking lot, and she's like, my gut said that those people are bad, and they were standing in front of her car, and it was back when they had the trunks that open. She put her kids in the car, opened the trunk, put her groceries in, got in the car, and the guy had gotten in the back seat.
With her kids? Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh.
And so once she pulled out, he pops up, put a knife to her neck, and said, go to the ATM. Luckily, he didn't do anything to her. But I asked her after class, I said, why did you get in the car? And she goes, well, I was grocery shopping and I was going to the car. I was like, well, they didn't know it was your car. Keep walking. Act like you couldn't find your car. Go back inside. Ask for security to help you. Why did you get in
Yeah.
the car? If you had that hair on the back of your neck
Right.
Have
standing
you ever
up,
had a hair on the back of your neck experience?
No, not that I can think of. Not like that. No.
I was at a Target once and I had like a 6-month-old baby.
Yeah.
And there was a guy like staring at me, and it was real creepy. Like I was checking out at Target, and just like you said, I could have just taken my baby, taken my belongings I bought, and gone to my car, but I didn't. I like noticed him, made eye contact with him, felt creeped out. So I put my baby in the cart with the stuff we bought and took off back into the Target, right? Instead of leaving back in, called my husband. He drove his car to Target to meet us. So that's the other thing, is like pay attention to when you have those moments of hair on the back of your neck, like something's wrong, listen to that.
well, it's funny. When they surveyed 10 women and they said, elevator door opens, super creepy guy standing there, do you get in?
No.
9 out of 10 will get in the elevator.
I would get in
Because
because I'm
they
like,
don't,
I'm going somewhere.
they
I'm
don't want to
like,
hurt. They don't want to hurt that person's feelings, even though they have a terrible gut feeling. They don't want to hurt someone else's feelings.
Whoa.
So part of what we talk about in class is thinking about, what could you say? So you don't want to get in the elevator. What could you say?
Oh, I forgot my keys.
I
Yeah.
was asking her.
Sorry.
You've got all the answers. She's got some creepy answers.
Getting in the elevator. I'm like, hey, what's up, man?
She's getting kidnapped tomorrow, so I'm not as worried. I'm worried about her.
Well, to me, I would feel like it's an elevator. The doors are going to open. There's going to be some other stranger who comes in here. It's not like I'm in a dark alley alone. I would feel safe if it was, let's say, like a hospital or something like that that's like highly populated and there was some weird person. I guess it depends on where I'm at.
Okay, your gut feeling is there for a reason.
Okay.
If it says bad,
Don't get in.
Yeah.
don't get in.
Okay.
Listen
Don't
to
get
it.
in.
Okay.
Humans are the only living thing on the planet that can go against their gut instinct.
Yeah.
And it is usually not for the better.
Right.
So true.
So, okay. Am I naive to believe that bad stuff happens only at nighttime?
Absolutely. I would say
Like, I
most
know
of it
your
happens
real
during
estate-
the day.
Yeah. But like, okay, so if I was going to, like, your Target thing, was that during the day or at nighttime?
During the day.
Really? And you weren't like, whatever, there's a million people outside in the parking lot that'll help.
No, I just had that hair on the back of my neck. And he was like real creepy. And so I was like, and he was like staring at me like I was his lunch or something. It was weird. And so and I had a baby with me
Yeah.
too. Like you would
Yeah.
think that you would.
Well, 84,000 kids go missing every year.
Really?
Yeah. So it could have been not you, but your kid.
I know. Yeah.
Okay, so now this is where I get really interested. what do we need to be teaching our kids? Like because obviously we all tell our kids, like, if a man comes up and says that they have puppies in the back of their car, you know that they don't have puppies, right?
So it's even, unfortunately today, we make it easy. Okay, so on the back of your car, you have Travis and Molly, you know, and their little numbers and their things. So you let a boy out at the mall and somebody sees it, somebody who's there for predatory reasons, and you drive off. And he drives up and says, Travis, Molly was in a car accident. Your mom told me to come get you.
Yeah.
That kid's getting in the car.
Yeah.
Because you gave them everything they needed to know.
Yeah.
So what I suggest is you have code words that you never say in front of your phone. I'm sorry, but don't say it in front of your phone.
Okay.
Okay? So that if he's like, really? What's the code word?
Yeah.
You know, so that way if you do have Aunt Joe go pick up Travis.
Do you have a code word?
Yeah.
With your kids?
Yeah.
So that they know, oh yeah, mom really did send you because you have the code word.
Right. We have a thing where it doesn't matter where they are, but it started with like sleepovers and stuff. And I'm like, if you ever don't feel comfortable, you just do this one thing and then I got you. Like, I will take care of all the details. It's all that you need to do. And so that we have, and I have heard, like, when you go to Starbucks, don't give them your real name, because then someone could hear it and they could be following you like, hey, Jess. And then you assume that they know you. But if they're calling you Mary because you told the Starbucks person Mary, you're like, you do not know me.
That is really interesting.
You know?
Yeah. Well, and when it comes to part of what I really like about the warrior workshops is families. It really morphed after the Marshall Fire because a lot of what I teach now is emergency preparation.
Okay.
Teenagers hurt my heart.
Yeah.
Because they're so used to GPS. When cell phones go down, they stop. They don't know where they're going. They don't know, because even my daughter, I'm like, you don't know how, you know, it's like, do you know how to get to work without your GPS?
Yeah.
I use it for traffic. Yeah, right.
Well, we all are. I mean, we all get so used to just
I
putting
know,
it
but
into.
if you had to get to Target without that, could you get to
Yes,
Target?
I could, but I don't have like a map in my car.
No, but at least you know how to get around.
Yes.
So that's a big part of it. Do you have a rally point? So after these big fires, big catastrophes, when you cannot go home, there's no cell phone service. Where do you go? Okay, you have adult kids.
Yeah.
Where does everybody go? If you've never discussed it,
Yeah.
where do you go?
If you can't go home?
Yeah.
So in Louisville, the rec center's gone. Police department's out of the question. Fire department's out of the question. Houses, 1,000 of them, they're all gone. So probably all of their friends' houses are gone. So where do you go?
Yeah.
If you haven't talked about it, it can create days of chaos. And if you haven't talked about this as a family, like, you need to leave notes. If you go to the Red Cross and no one's there, you need to leave a note. I went to Aunt Molly's.
Oh.
So that, because otherwise you're constantly chasing each other, trying to figure out who went where.
Right. Is that happening in the Palisades right now? Do they have no cell phone service?
No, because the towers melt. I mean, until they get stuff up, you have none of that.
It is. It's like complete chaos, because you can have, all the power's gone, are down in a lot of areas.
And then your phones, you can't, yeah.
So you need to have, like, okay, so for example, in your car, you need to have a battery, like a power source to charge your phone, all that, water, jumper cables, a blanket. Like, what are the other things?
I do a change of clothes.
Okay.
Gallon of water, flashlights.
Oh, flashlights.
I have this has jumper cables, matches, an emergency blanket. It's amazing to me. So even just like what you and I are wearing, if we were in a car accident on a spring evening where it's just cool,
we would die.
We'd freeze.
Yeah.
Because you're standing out there for hours. And you just get cold. And cars don't have insulation. So if you run out of gas and then your heat turns off, or you run out of battery and your heat turns off, it gets cold really quick.
Wow.
Really quick. And don't leave your car, don't leave your phone plugged into your car once your battery runs out because your car will suck your phone dry.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It'll suck the battery. Yeah.
Wow. I didn't know that.
And another thing, while we're talking about batteries, chargeable batteries like scooters and hoverboards
Yep.
and stuff, don't ever charge those in your house at night. They're a fire hazard. Don't do that.
How about
Don't let them charge in your bedroom. I mean, if that's where your car charger is,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you got to have good warning systems.
I remember when the hoverboards came out, like 10 years ago, 12 years, when like everyone was getting them and there were so many fires in people's houses because of those batteries.
Yeah. And what's scarier is when they're in bedrooms
Yeah.
where your kids are at.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Okay, so can we see what's in there?
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to,
So it has a little reflective.
okay.
These are called junk in the trunk.
I love
And
that.
we sell, so my damsel agent, we have so much stuff for sale. So this is jumper cables. Let's see if I can get these out of here.
Oh, those are cute jumper cables.
Right? This is a headlamp
Okay. Oh,
so that you can see what you're doing.
okay.
We have waterproof matches. This is one of those magnetic flashing lights. Warning lights.
Yeah.
It's magnetic. We have an ice scraper. Let's see, a small first aid kit, which everyone should take a first aid class. Everyone should know basic first aid,
Okay.
especially if you have kids.
Yeah.
If you really get bored, we got playing cards,
Aw.
ice scraper, more of these
Yeah.
traffic
the
arrows,
Yeah.
bungee cord, emergency blanket, a poncho.
What do you need a bungee cord for?
I don't know. So you can strap somebody to the ground. I don't know. And then a Phillips screwdriver and an air gauge.
Oh.
And all children, I believe, should have to take basic mechanical,
Safety.
how to fill your tires, how to change a tire.
Uh-huh.
Predators, by the way, do not like the word no. And that's a word of caution. If you're telling someone, no, I got it, and they say, oh, you can't possibly, you're a woman, or I'm a big, strong guy, I got you. Those are warning signs that person has bad intentions.
Yeah.
Because if I came up on you on a flat tire and you're like, listen, I got it,
Yeah.
stay back, I would go back to my car and I would watch just to make sure you're okay.
Yeah.
But I would not interfere,
Yeah.
right? Where someone with bad intention would continually, come on, I
Press
got
you.
you. Yeah.
That
You
would
can't-
freak me out.
Yeah.
I know.
Big time.
Yep.
Have you ever had a flat tire at a really bad time?
No.
So
Have
we
you?
had in a blizzard, we had our two very small children in the back seat, and we were about to go through Eisenhower Tunnel back to Denver, and we had to pull over right before the tunnel, and we had a flat tire, and like it was blizzarding and just terrible conditions. You could barely see. Luckily, like a tow truck passed us,
Yeah.
and they put our car on top of with our whole family in it, on top of the tow truck, like on the base
rollback?
of the back, yeah. And then drove us over Eisenhower Tunnel and back the other direction to take us to get our tire fixed. It was
Thank God for that.
it was like it would be really scary to have someone show up that's not in a tow truck or something
Right.
that, but like, whoa.
And thank God that you were with your husband.
Yeah. And our two babies though too. So
Yeah.
it's like, it's even more terrifying.
One of the biggest mistakes that people make is getting out of the car.
Okay.
So if at all possible,
Stay in your car.
Yeah.
Even if your tire's flat, just,
once you've assessed that it's flat, get back in the car and figure out what you're going to do.
yeah.
Whether you're going to call AAA, whether you're going to call a spouse or a friend, don't stand outside the car while you're trying to figure out
Yeah.
what to do.
That's fair.
Okay.
Or don't ever get in someone's car. Like if they're like,
Except Ubers.
well, no, if somebody attacks you, someone attacks you,
Yeah.
like you have to fight right there. Like if you get in their car,
Yeah.
or they,
I've always heard that. That's what I was just going to ask you. Like, so if someone's trying to take you from point A to wherever they're going to take you, you fight tooth and nail to not move locations, right?
So one of the biggest defining factors in an incident that goes south like that is your decision to win.
Okay.
I was in a horrible fight at the jail,
Okay.
and I never felt like I was going to die
Okay.
or like I was going to lose. I was like, just keep going. Help will arrive. You'll get through this. So a lot of it depends on your attitude. A lot of people have fatalistic attitudes where they're like, well, I would never survive that. Well,
So then they
you've
would just-
got to stop saying that. You have got to have deep down in your muscle memory, in your brain, you have got to say, I can survive anything. I will get through anything, which I think has helped me in real estate because there's nothing that I won't figure out a way through.
I love that.
But it goes from work to critical incidents. I will figure out a way through it, and I
So
will
fascinating.
survive.
Yeah.
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of like when you're about to lift a really heavy weight.
Yeah.
And your mind's like, I don't think I can do that. And then you're like, you have to get your mind there first before your body.
Yeah.
And so you're right. It's everything. It's business. It's just life, right? It's like whatever you say I can do, you have a much better chance of being able to do it.
But I feel like if someone was attacking me, I would go into fight or flight mode. And you hear those stories about like these moms who their kids get run over by a car and all of a sudden they can lift a car because their body just like is supercharged in that moment. I would imagine that it's very similar if someone is attacking you where you're like just feeling this surge of energy.
Well, it's interesting. So the Air Force developed OODA loops, which is a decision-making process. Observe, orient, decide, and act.
Okay.
So that's how any decision is made. It's just the speed in which it's made. So in a fight, if you can do something that the other person is not expecting,
Okay.
you loop first.
Okay.
Okay. So you win. So in any kind of a fight, when they say, so let's say they say, just keep your mouth shut and go along with it, and nothing will happen.
Yeah.
That's when you scream, make as much noise, gouge, kick, punch, because that's what they're not expecting.
Okay.
Yeah, they expect you to listen to what they say.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it goes back to what started this is like, I think if someone's like, get in my car,
No.
like you fight there.
Yeah.
Because I think your chances of being murdered at a different location, if they take you to like a remote area.
No one knows where you're there.
Yeah.
They would know like maybe you're here. Like people know that you're here right now.
Yeah.
So if you don't show up to wherever you're supposed to be after this, this is the starting point.
Yeah.
Another interesting thing with incidents like that is knowing phone numbers.
Oh,
so I'm
God.
kind of a freak when it comes to memorizing phone numbers. So if you think about if someone took your phone,
Yeah.
but you got to a place where you found a desk phone or you found someone else's phone, like let's say you got away from somebody and you ran and you said, can I just borrow your phone?
Yeah.
Would you be able to call both your kids?
And do your
husband?
kids,
No, me neither.
do your kids know your phone numbers?
Yes, because they're little and like they have to learn that in school, but I don't know anything.
Okay, we got some work for
I
you
know.
to do.
God, I'm like yeah.
We should make a really good like gift to someone would be to make like a checklist for people of like make sure these are the ways to be safe. Oh, you have one.
Oh, look at this.
So I give this whole thing out with my classes. It's a whole emergency preparation thing that I give out with my classes because it's a lot to remember. It's a lot to think about, and families. So just out of curiosity, and you don't have to answer if you don't want to. When you tell your car to go home, does it go home or does it go somewhere close to home?
I think it goes home.
Mine goes home.
Okay, so how smart is that?
Yeah.
Oh. To not do
Oh,
that?
so then anyone can go into our car and say, go home.
Yeah, and you got your garage
Like,
door
yeah,
opener.
I sure do.
So let's say I kidnap you.
Oh my God. Yeah. And even if you have a car that doesn't have a navigation system in it, you probably have your registration in your
So
car.
the
'cause you
new
need to get
registration,
pulled
yeah, the
over.
new registrations, there's two of them. One
Okay.
has your home address and the other one does not. And it clearly says,
Oh.
this is the one you put in the car, does not have your home address on
You
it.
want to know a true story? I literally yesterday got my new tags. They expire in January. I put it on my license plate yesterday, and I just took that whole envelope and put it in my.
Yeah.
I
so
never
your
even
home
looked
address
at it.
is in there.
Okay.
And your garage door opener opens your garage. So two things.
I need to put the one that says for the car in the car and take the other one out.
But change your home address on there. Like
Put a different.
we have a fire department like a mile from our house.
okay.
So mine's the fire department.
Oh.
So if I'm way deep down in Centennial, somewhere where I'm just trying to figure out how to get my way out,
Right.
it's going to go close enough.
Yeah.
Right. But if you stole my purse, stole my car, it'll take you to the fire department.
That is so smart.
And do you know how to lock your garage doors?
No.
So that your garage door openers don't work.
No.
Okay. So on most of them, there's a lock button. There's a little lock.
Okay.
If you hold it down, the pad flashes. That means that any of the buttons, any of the keypads are disabled.
How do you disable it when you're in your car? Can you?
You can't. I don't.
Okay.
I don't think you can.
So you have to disable it from the garage.
inside. Yeah. So like if your friend that won't take a shower when husband's out of
Yeah.
town, there are things you can do to make your house more secure, especially if you park your car outside of your house.
Yeah. Park your car outside of your house at
Yeah,
home.
because then they got the garage door opener. People don't realize if you park your car outside, but you have your garage door opener, they can break into your car.
Yes.
Hit the button.
See,
Go in your house.
we lock the door between the garage.
Yeah, we do
and
that too.
Our house.
Very
but-
few people do.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but you should lock your house
Yeah.
when you're in it.
Oh yeah, we do.
Even
all
when
the-
you're, so that people don't randomly, because that's a crime of opportunity. People just, somebody comes along and they've got the vest on and they look all professional and they're just testing to see whose house they can get into.
Yeah.
And trying not to be noticeable.
I see that all the time on the news where any random, like, think about it. If someone comes up to you and they're wearing a safety vest, you're like, of course you're with Excel. Come on in. Like, I thought that you were going to just be showing up here for no reason at
no
all.
good reason.
Would you like a water? Like, what can I get for you?
Yeah.
And they have no proof of anything except for a safety vest that anyone can have. Like, we just trust people. Like, and I think that there's a fine line because I don't want to be a person who thinks that everyone is bad. Like, I don't want to live that way, but I also don't want to live
think there's a
believing that
fine
everybody
balance.
is good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, and it's hard. And it's especially hard to go back to the Uber thing that you were talking about. Because I remember when my kids were really little and we would get into an Uber and they would be like, hang on. You have spent the past however many months or years or whatever telling me not to get into a car with a stranger. Who is this random man that is picking you up and you guys are, And so then my kids would like be so excited to meet the Uber guy and they would come out and meet the Uber guy and we would be like, see, so he's not a stranger. So whatever. And that is so dumb.
Well, and I think education is something where Uber, you can say, look, it says it's a Toyota Corolla and it says his name is Joe.
Yeah.
And this is his license plate, so there's a smart way to do that where I think you can educate them to let them know that mommy's not getting in a stranger's car.
Right.
And this is what they do for a living.
Right.
There's always going to be bad actors out there,
Yeah.
but by and large,
Yeah.
Ubers
well,
are safe.
and Uber is way safer than a regular cab. A regular cab, no one knows where you are. It's not tracked GPS. There's no app for it. Like, I will not really get into I can't even think of the last time I took a regular cab anywhere.
Yeah.
I still am scared as a single female to get into an Uber by myself.
Really?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I mean, things happen.
Yeah.
And you're now in a car that's moving with a stranger.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Well, and that's where you just have to stay off your phone, pay attention. Usually if you sit where you can see their phone, you can tell if they're taking the route, like map out the route on your phone.
that's what I do.
So you can know if you suddenly go off
Right.
route.
And what's cool about Uber or Lyft is it'll text you if you do go off route and
Yes.
be like,
and it'll
it looks
ask
like
you if you're okay.
Yeah, are you okay? Which I think is cool.
Yeah.
So let's talk about breaking car windows
Okay.
Okay.
really quick. So it's funny, you see people trying to break windows, like hitting in the center of the window.
Yeah.
Like either to get a dog out of a hot car or it's rolled over and you're trying to break a window. You know, the easiest place to break any window is a corner. It's the area of least resistance, and they're tempered. So all you have to do is get the corner, and the whole thing will shatter.
Oh.
So if you're ever trying to break a window, go for a corner.
Okay.
Good to know.
With a hard object. And actually, I didn't bring one, but our flashlights actually have a window breaking, a little popper on the end. You just push it on the window and it'll pop. We have emergency flashlights. I should have brought one.
Wait, it's a flashlight, but it has a thing that comes out and it'll like.
Yes.
And it has like a seatbelt.
It has a
too.
seatbelt cutter. It has emergency flashers.
Wow. If you
It's
get into an
magnetic.
accident,
Yeah.
do you know sometimes
got a
that you
siren.
can't get out of your seatbelt if you
Because
get
it
in an
like
accident?
locks in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The flashlights are very cool. And I did.
So
not bring
everybody
one.
needs to have one of these kits in their car.
More
I
than
think
just
so.
a kit too. Like
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
every realtor at least, or every
Yeah.
woman actually should
Yeah.
carry a stun gun.
And kids in college.
Yeah.
Yes.
These. Yeah.
Wow.
And I mean, this is fun if you have little kids. This is a Safe Hearts. This is a board game.
Okay.
And we have a bunch of books. And this is a whole game on how to talk to your kids about difficult conversations. Like
Oh.
what to do if they find a gun
Yeah.
at a friend's house.
Yeah.
And they find a gun laying around. So if you're not good at talking about your kids or starting those conversations, these are wonderful.
What do you tell your kids? Because I know what I've told my kids, but what is the right advice about if you're at your friends, you're having a sleepover, their family has guns? Because of course in my world, I live like everybody locks up their guns. Everybody, the dad's a hunter. Who cares? Whatever. There's a big giant safe in my mind, and it's like a fingerprint, and no one can ever get in it.
And eyeball scan.
Yeah,
and,
totally.
Yeah, voice recognition.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. In my mind, that's how it works. But I know that it is not. And I trust that my kids are smart enough. But what is the conversation?
Well, usually when you consider a bunch of kids, if you think about a bunch of kids find a gun, that's, oh my gosh, look how cool that is.
Totally.
So you just have to trust that if you teach them to go find an adult and don't touch it,
Yeah.
they don't randomly go off.
Yeah.
Okay. So in my classes, with the permission of parents, I do have plastic guns
Okay.
where I can show the parts of a gun
Okay.
and that they don't just randomly go off.
Right.
So you just have to tell them, go find an adult, don't ever touch it. Leave it there. Don't pick it up to take it to somebody. And if another kid starts going, oh, this is cool, you leave.
Yeah.
Totally.
You leave the room immediately.
Yeah.
Like that's a no-go.
Yeah.
So Danna, how do people get a hold of you to learn more about your classes?
Well, so my damsel agent, because I'm a realtor, my damsel agent is my Facebook, Instagram, my contact information. And then the safe showing classes for real estate, same thing, same phone number.
Okay.
Or just call my office, my RE/MAX office.
I would like to do a class. Like we
Yes.
should put a class together.
Yes.
That'd be really fun if you'd be open to that.
They're a ton
Yeah.
of fun. They're
Yeah.
very informative. They're fun. They're interactive. We do a few things like how to get out of a handhold, how to get out of a chokehold.
That's neat.
So we do some of that stuff. How to get out of a mounted position when someone's on top of you. So
And then in your real estate business, do you have an area that you specialize in, or are you everywhere?
well, I was born in Boulder,
Okay.
so I'm kind of everywhere.
Okay.
Yeah, I love I'm really creative and I'm a really good problem solver. So I love difficult,
complicated ones?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I'm good at difficult situations. I mean, I love the easy ones too. Don't get me wrong, but I'm really good at
I love that.
creative, difficult situations too. So
That's neat.
yeah,
And you just you just rebranded. So
Front Range Homes at RE/MAX Alliance. I was the Hinz group
Yeah.
at RE/MAX Alliance.
why did you rebrand?
Well, I was hoping that my daughter would get into real estate and it would be just a legacy.
handoff?
Yes, handoff. And she got into veterinary medicine. So I don't think she's coming back. And I was Front Range Homes a long time ago.
Oh.
And Melanie was with me a long time ago, back in the 2000s.
Okay.
And back then, they decided you couldn't have Front Range, you couldn't have homes in your name.
Oh.
So I went to the Hinz group, and now they've cleared to go back to, so I'm back to, because hopefully someday, if there's anybody out there who wants to buy a real estate team eventually, I'm hiring. But yeah, hopefully I can hand it off to somebody. And that's more of that's the corporation I've always had. And that's the website I've always had. I never let it go from back then.
Oh, that's smart.
So we're kind of back to Front Range.
Oh,
Glass.
that's neat.
Good.
That's neat.
Yeah.
Good. So exciting.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. And I wake up every day. I love what I do. I'm a coach now at
real
Remax
estate
Alliance.
coach? Wow.
Yeah. So I'm on their performance department. I love mentoring new people. I love sharing. I love teaching. I was a scuba diving instructor at 18.
Yeah.
Like teaching is kind of what I was wired to do.
If you could pick, would you rather do the day-to-day transactions of real estate or would you rather coach?
Oh, that's I love both.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I like real estate and I've been so blessed and good at it because I like teaching my people. Like I don't just sell them a house. I teach them what we're looking at, what you're looking at, what you're buying, what's the upside, what's the downside.
Yeah.
You know, what are you looking at in the future for this?
You're kind of coaching your client,
Yeah.
right? So you're either coaching a client or you're coaching your peers.
Yeah.
So it seems like you just really love educating people and helping them.
Oh, yeah.
Which is so critical because when I think about someone who's going to buy a home and spend, arguably, it's the most expensive purchase of anyone's life, and they don't have someone who's coaching them through this and saying, let's think about this 10 years from now. Let's look at, what's underneath this sink. Let's look at the unfinished part and see what, like someone who has no idea what they're getting themselves into, it just blows my mind. So I think that having that experience that you've been doing this a long time, you're coaching, to your point, coaching your clients, coaching the people who are working for you, like making sure that they know all of these things that having done it for so long. It's really, really important that people use an expert like you.
Well, and I do. So on my listings, like I have a book that I put together for every one of my listings. And one of my sellers said, why do you do this? And I said, because I'm trying to combat lazy agents. Because literally you watch them on camera, walk in and they go, have at it. Let me know what you think. And they start returning phone calls and they send text messages. So I'm forced to show the house through the products that I produce because those agents don't. Because you look at how many of the agents have been in the business for less than 10 years, less than 5 years. There's so few veterans left. And a lot of the veterans are kind of checked out.
Yeah.
They're tired of, because the last couple of years have not been fun.
I think the veterans, a lot of them are having a hard time evolving because the business is changing. Like you're really big on social media, but I think having a brand and being one-to-many on social media is like a critical component in today's world as a real estate agent. And some of the, legacy agents aren't willing to do that, So I think that there's a lack of ability to evolve that's happening too.
Well, in the NAR lawsuit and how that evolved scared a bunch of people.
The interest rates are...
You got to be creative.
Yeah, you do.
Like there's still so many things you can do.
I know.
But if you don't know, the other problem too is real estate is like hyper local, right? So you've got all these things going on here. Could be really good things. But if you're listening to the news of social media of the coasts, it's not here.
Yeah.
Like that could be the situation there, but it's not here.
Yeah.
But they hear the stuff like Colorado was one of 14 states that had buyer agency when this settlement went through. Like we've been doing this since 94. It's nothing for us. But yeah, there's states where buyer agency is brand new since August. And they don't know what's going on. And it's terrifying. And so if you're listening to the news from one of those states, they got some things to figure out, but we don't.
Yeah.
We're good.
Yeah.
So.
Well, thanks for being on today. This was really fun to have
This
you.
was so much fun.
Aw, I loved it.
I feel like I met a whole new side of you that I didn't know existed. I just didn't know your background as well as Elise did. So it was really fun to learn.
Well,
I loved it. I'm going to redo my car. I'm telling you, you're going to be so
take
proud
your
of me.
class.
I want to take your class. I want to redo my car and I'm going to not get into the elevator with anyone who I think is giving me the heebie-jeebies. I'm not doing it. I promise you. I'm going to be more aware.
All right, stay off your phone.
I will. Oh,
You stay off your phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, that's my big one today.
Time block.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And also just work on being present, because I loved what you said about you can't be multi-focused. So even if you think you're being effective, talking to a team member and giving them direction and trying to respond to a text at the same time, you can't multi-focus. So in one of those areas, you're doing a bad job. So it's just like, are you really gaining anything? I think that's my number one takeaway, and how it can relate to my safety too.
Oh, good.
Yeah. This was great.
Well, thank you.